Now, the U.S. Central Command has announced that American forces have launched a second wave of strikes against Iran, targeting the Iranian military capabilities allegedly used to threaten vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz, the key international waterway for global commerce. Now, according to CENTCOM, the operations were carried out under the direction of the U.S. Commander-in-Chief, with Washington stating that the strikes are intended to hold Iran accountable for actions it says endanger the security of the maritime navigation in the strategically vital shipping corridor. Now, this is the fifth consecutive day of strikes. News editor Foreign Affairs Akanksha Swarup joins us on the broadcast with the details. Akanksha, Mayank is also with us. But Akanksha, the strikes are continuing. This is the second wave of strikes, and for the fifth consecutive day now, U.S. has continued to pound Iran. What are the details of the attacks?
Right. So what's standing out now in the last 5 days that can be observed is that the U.S. is continuing to pound the islands around the Strait of Hormuz, largely Bandar Abbas, Chabahar, Keshem Island. Now, these are strategic islands as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned. China also refers to it as the arch of defense for Iran. So if the U.S. Navy is able to sort of degrade the military capabilities of Iran in this Strait of Hormuz, these islands particularly, this time around, they have also targeted more islands. If you look at the map of it, then that's also trying to give us indications that they're looking towards expanding these strikes, as has already been indicated by the U.S. President himself, Pratibha. More importantly, ever since the blockade was reimposed by the U.S. Navy just a day ago, it's the first time that they have, in fact, tracked and, attacked another vessel that was Curacao Island flagged vessel. This was an empty vessel. It was moving towards Karga Island. This has been attacked by the U.S. CENTCOM. It's the first vessel that's been attacked by the CENTCOM ever since the naval blockade was reimposed by the United States. So we'll have to see, is this the beginning of further escalation, given that so far it was only the IRGC which was attacking vessels. Now we are seeing another vessel which was moving towards the Iranian ports being attacked, as has already been declared by the U.S. Navy that they will be attacking all ships going to and fro from the Iranian ports. So, yes, what also stands out is that the U.S. president now looking towards expanding those strikes. And as I said, Tungs Island, one of the Tungs Island, which is the bigger and the smaller Tungs Island, that also is now coming in the ambit of fire, which is why I mentioned that these islands are extremely strategic when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz. So rapidly we can see all of these islands, whether Keshem, Karg, Tungs, all of them now coming in the line of fire.
Okay, all right. We have, in fact, a statement coming in from the U.S. Vice President. J.D. Vance has spoken about Iran, and he says that if Iranian people want to rise up and change their government, that's up to them, but we are not going to send our troops on ground to accomplish a change in the regime unless the people on ground themselves want to accomplish that outcome. So U.S. is back to talking about a regime change. And in fact, J.D. Vance has said that if Iranian people want to rise up and change their government, that's up to them, making it clear yet again that U.S. is not going to send troops on the ground. Now, there are multiple challenges for the U.S. to actually send troops to Iran. Geographically as well, it's going to be very, very difficult for the United States. And this is something that the U.S. president has also ruled out previously. So, Mayank, it is now becoming clear that U.S. is again reiterating the same, that boots on ground is not an option currently for the United States. But what's interesting is that J.D. Vance is yet again talking about a regime change in Iran.
Definitely, Pratibha. Right from the beginning, when the 28th of Feb operation started, Epic Fury in particular, and the main motive or the bigger motive was actually regime change. And when one says that there won't be boot on ground, that means territorial operations will not be launched, which means air and water remains the only two means by which either projectiles or the firepower will be used in this case. So, and mind it, Pratibha, the geography when you say of Iran, it's almost half the size of India. And I mean, there are larger portions which are also mountains, which makes even further difficult for ground operations. But then what we see is actually what is pinching the world is since 4th of March, when 1/5 of the portion of the oil and its derivatives, they have vanished. And this is the kind of strategic sphere the Strait of Hormuz is. Now, coming back to the other options, I mean, other goals with which the operations had started had also included blunting the capability of Iran to assemble nuclear weapons, also to hit them in such a way that their manufacturing capability for missiles, drones, they are also hit, and they are also not able to support their proxies, which were including Hamas, Houthi, and Hezbollah. But what you see in interesting statement coming from J.D. Vance is that means the operations, at least from air and water, will be continuing. There won't be any boots on ground. And in this case, whereas Iranians are concerned, they had also been using air projectiles only, which is missiles or drones, which may be for surveillance purposes, intelligence purposes, or even for exploding them as on the targets. So what we see is actually it is sort of a J.D. Vance hints that the operations might continue, but then we are also getting to understand that there are some kind of backdoor talks which are also continuing for some middle ground, Pratibha.
Okay.
And at least we might expect some reprieve coming because of that, and some sanity prevails.
Okay, yes, well, one can hope that. Let's see what happens. We have more breaking updates coming in of the U.S. Treasury Department imposing sanctions on 7 individuals and entities accused of supporting an international network involved in procuring weapons for Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. In fact, these sanctions target individuals and companies in Iran, Russia, Italy, and Nigeria that Washington says helped facilitate weapons procurement efforts on behalf of the IRGC by allegedly using foreign aviation and transport firms, financial channels, and travel coordinators to conceal the group's involvement. So, Akanksha, imposing sanctions on entities that are accused of supporting the IRGC. What are the details?
Right. So this is a statement that has also been put out there by the U.S. State Department. And what we can tell our viewers is that now the United States is looking towards sanctioning other countries that are involved in procuring these weapons. And for the IRGC, and the countries that they have named are particularly Russia, Italy, Nigeria. These are companies and individuals that are operating in Iran, in Russia, Italy, and Nigeria. And they are the ones that are facilitating the IRGC to procure these weapons. They're using foreign aviation and transport firms, financial channels, and travel coordinators to conceal the group's involvements as well. Remember, yesterday also there was news about, targeting the shipping network of Iran. So step by step, as you can see, there is a conscious effort being made by the United States in terms of targeting all the funding of the IRGC, whether it is through oil and shipping, or even if it is to do with their weapons procurement. Any country or individual that is found helping the IRGC with procurement of those weapons will be targeted. We all know that much of the weapons being sourced currently, not just by Iran, but by Lebanon also, is being supplied, say, by suppliers from Russia. And so Russian entities are also on the radar. It's very surprising that Italy has also been mentioned. Will the US be reaching out to its ally? That is, Italy would be interesting to see. But yes, Nigeria also being mentioned over there. Various companies and individuals have been identified. Their financial assets are going to be frozen as well. We'll have to see what's going to be the next step of the US Treasury Department, given that oil, shipping, and now even the weapons procurers have been targeted. Who is it going to be next?
Okay, all right. We have more breaking updates coming in from the U.S. Vice President, and J.D. Vance seems to have made some serious allegations against Israel. Vance saying that Israeli officials attempted to influence American public opinion and suggested that there are efforts to push Washington toward continuing the war with Iran. Now, these remarks have sparked a new debate over the U.S. foreign policy and the role of allies in shaping America's decision. And Mayank, for a very long time, perhaps even for a long time, it seemed like the relationship between the U.S. and Israel was sacrosanct. But now there seem to be doubts on that. First, it was a statement that came in from the United States. There have also been certain reports. And now you have J.D. Vance also going on to say that Israeli officials attempted to influence the American public opinion. Is this an indication that all may not be well between U.S. and Israel when it was believed that it was an unbreakable bond between the two countries?
Pratibha, there has been dissonance as far as approaching the operations, which can be military operations or the otherwise perception management itself. There had been divergence between the kind of approaches which were supposed to be followed between both US and Israel. What you see is actually sort of a reinforcement of that. And right from the beginning, there was a debate or some sort of a discussion was being has been continuing, which was that it was at least it was actually the primary operations from the Netanyahu government, because of which the compulsions had come upon the U.S. president, and thus the operations ultimately were launched jointly. And if you see, at least on Lebanon operation, there had been major dissonance or disagreements, wherein Israel had been continuing the operations even while there was a talk of ceasefire talk was mediated by the US in that case. So what you see is sort of a dissonance or extension of that kind of that debate, and it might find a different kind of a approach in the coming time. But what you see, definitely we can say there's a dissonance or disagreement on certain approaches.
So the disagreements are continuing. How does that affect the war will be interesting to see. Akanksha and Mayank, thank you for joining us on the broadcast with all those details.